when I was still a reporter photographer, and because I got to be an editor later on. I was editor of the Gazette for a while. I say I was managing editor was what it was.
Yeah.
We had an editor above that and a publisher above that.
Right.
And very cordial relations over there at the old Gazette when it was the old Gazette.
Yeah.
It was right next door, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Right next to where I am here. I
Son of a gun.
moved across an alley.
Strange how those things work
In
out.
60 years, I moved from one side of the alley to the other. But yes, it was on assignment, and when I was covering police, it was a matter of whatever happened with the police department: murders, fires, accidents, that kind of thing. Then I did some business news reporting, and I did some editorial writing and pictures, and wrote a column every week, and that is what it still comes down to, is writing a column every week, pretty much.
Right.
I showed you in one of the other pictures the small camera I used during the war. We use even smaller ones now, but this is the size camera we used when I was starting in news photography. The big old speed graphics, one sheet of film at a time. Now I can carry in my pocket as much film as I carried on the Okinawa in the invasion, and spent as much as I would use in a week or more taking regular pictures. But this is the size camera we had to carry and run around with. I can show you and say, here's some of the things I did. This is a fire way up on Broadway.
Yep.
Now look at down here. Look at the whole big camera bag I had to carry around.
Yeah, that's true.
And this is the kind of things we had to put on. Oh, that was a big barn way up on Broadway. The old Kerry bottling place.
Oh, yeah.
On the road to Salem. Remember there was a great big bottle in the front of the barn there for years. Yeah, and that was the typewriter, which was all we had to use in the old days. Although some people had to write by hand, but everything was typewriters in those days. It's gone from that to computers, and it's it was quite a jump from ordinary typewriters to electric typewriters, and then into computers, which is all we use today. And now you don't even have to come into the office anymore to get a story written and get it in the paper. Although I like to go into the office because it's where you talk to people and find out what's going on. And I've covered everything spectacular. Murder trials.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it all depends. I've covered heart developments. I was the first one of the first ones to hear at Harvard about DNA, which is so thought of now. The people who worked that up cover that. Things like that. Everything with medical and business, and covering the development and opening of the industrial park in Ward Hill, covering the strikes at Western Electric when they had them here, and the growth of Western Electric when it came in. And I worked for 3 or 4 months at Western Electric back in 45, 46. Wow. I still get a very good rating. I checked every once in a while. They still have a record of it,
is that right? No, I didn't know that.
Well, I was waiting to get on the Gazette after the war. Yeah. This is a picture that nobody will ever be able to take again, because Hannah Dustin is still there in GAR Park, but City Hall is gone, and the Church of the Nazarene is gone.
That's true.
It all went with urban renewal, so this picture will never be taken again from this angle. And she's pointing down toward White's Corner, which is completely different now than it was then. Yeah. But this is, another slice of Haverhill history that's gone down the drain. So that'll never be the same again. This is the way Washington Square used to be decorated for Christmas, with the big bell playing music and everything else, and all kinds of activity in the square. It's no longer there. There were stores all along this side of the square, and businesses all along Merrimack Street that were much more lavishly decorated in the old days for Christmas than they are today. And but I just picked this one at random as the kind of photography we used to do, that I used to do when I was a lot younger, and so was the city. Just an example of a general news picture. This was just a general news picture. If you want to go into this, this is the first car to cross the newly remade Groveland Bates Bridge. And I've even forgotten what year it was, but we're coming up to a time now when they're going to have to rebuild it. That's how long ago this was.
That's true.
The whole thing is going to have to be rebuilt, and they're going to have to do all the bridges up and down the Merrimack River, and this is one that's already worn out.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can see how long I've been taking pictures of these bridges. They're worn out, and I'm getting there. Snow scene in Greater Haverhill, a little brook running through the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Just pretty kind of pictures.
Right.
I had an idea after they came out with I Love New York, using a heart instead of love, that if we made the V in Haverhill into a heart, you could call it the city with a heart. And it was very warmly turned down by the city council, although a couple of people. But when there were some people here from Haverhill, England, they liked the idea. So this is from the Haverhill paper in England,
Nice.
in a joint bid to boost the town. And they used my idea for
Oh, son of a
Haverhill,
gun.
a city with a heart,
That's right.
to make that red. And
Right.
so one of these days we may revive that. But they took it to England. This is one of the things that I look back on with some sense of satisfaction. Fred Malcolm was chairman of the All-America City Committee in 1979, and I was vice chairman. And we won the title in national competition. It was in Louisville, and we competed with cities and towns from across the country for that All-America City title.
Mm-hmm.
And we had made the finals a couple of years before, but we didn't make it all the way. And we got to Louisville, we had learned some things, and we got it. And Haverhill, from that point, can always call itself an All-America City. It was a wonderful committee. There was a lot of community spirit in it. And I think that we showed a whole different aspect of Haverhill to a lot of people.
Yeah, great.
And
Excellent.
it came out well, and actually the city could still put the signs up today if it wanted to. It could have never did put up enough of them. And it could still put All-America City signs at the entrances to the city.